From Studio 3 at Buzz TV, it's The Horse's Mouth with Tom McManus.
All right, time once again for another edition of The Horse's Mouth here at Tommy Mac's, of course, at my bar where everyone has a chance to have a seat, grab a drink, and tell their story. Brought to our good friends at Dasher and the law offices of Terrell Hogan. Great to have both of them on board. This is the Salute to Veterans segment. Chris Budihas is here, and he's brought his friends along with him. Let's welcome in the panel. Mike Jones is up first from Universal Design Solutions. Hi, Mike.
Hello.
Thank you for your service, first and foremost.
Thank you, sir.
What are you doing at Universal, man? Tell us what you're doing.
We're doing residential disability modifications to people's homes when they're dealing with challenges in the homes that need to, they need more access in their home.
Okay, like ramps,
Ramps,
easy
wheelchair
accessibility.
lifts, stair
Okay.
lifts, that type of stuff.
Right.
And all the way up to full home modifications,
Wow.
kitchens, bathrooms.
Cool. You've been doing that a long time?
About 5 years.
Okay, great. Great to have you on the show.
Good to see you,
How are
Tom.
you, brother?
I'm doing great.
Welcome
Doing
back.
great. No,
How
thanks
you
a lot.
been?
Doing well.
Brought all the vets with you.
Yeah, brought all the vets. So yeah, give some advice to those in uniform and those that
Yeah.
already left. But
I know we're going to talk about transition, right? And
Yeah.
finding the tools that you used in the military and bringing them into what you're doing once you're done.
yes, sir. Yeah, absolutely.
It's not easy.
Not easy, but I think veterans got to give themselves a little bit of credit. You know, they
Yeah.
learned a lot of tools, especially on the planning and implementation side. So
True.
how do you take those tools and put them in a business setting, you know, either as a small business owner or as part of, you know, leadership in a
Yeah.
larger organization?
It's not the same, but parallel with when you're done playing professional sports, you got to figure it out.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It's a challenge to get
Yeah.
to the right spot.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. All right, Josh Kristoff is here from Nomad Capital Ventures.
Hey, Tom.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Welcome
likewise.
to the show. Thanks for your service. You're in what, real estate, did I hear?
Yeah, we do a couple things.
Okay.
We're a family of businesses, real estate investing and asset management. We have a construction firm, a property
Okay.
management firm. Primarily the core product is short-term rentals and a little bit of long-term rentals. And we have real estate brokerage and building a software product right now as well.
What'd you do in the Navy? What was your-
Service warfare officer.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's that transition.
Yeah, that's the big,
How do you read a market report?
the big gray ships, man. Yeah, that's what we do. So we, a lot of our role as service warfare officers is management. So I started in communications and then
Okay.
moved into weapons systems. Like my wife, for example, studied broadcast journalism and spent a lot of time in the main propulsion and electrical.
Okay.
You know, clear translation of skill and in service, but generally like that management, understanding operations. And
That's cool.
So,
Well,
yeah.
great to have you on the show, man. Thanks for your service. Chase Bleke's here from VFF, is that right?
Yeah.
Real estate?
Yeah, real
And
estate
financial
education.
services, is that right?
Right.
How long did you serve for?
I was in for about 6 years.
You were Navy?
No, Marine Corps.
Marine Corps. All right. You protected the Navy is what I'm
Teach them how to put their scopes on the right way.
I have a lot of veterans on the show. I hear all the jokes. Well, tell us about your business at VFF.
Yeah, so VFF is a conglomeration of a lot of partners who come together and just want to educate veterans at a more entry level. So there's financial literacy, there's house hacking, there's becoming a business owner, all of the essentials that folks need.
That's fantastic. You've been doing that a long time?
We have been doing it for a while, for probably about 5-6 years, but the official branding and everything came together in the last year.
Okay.
So it's kind of a disaggregated union right now of a lot of different players, but it's a central hub for veterans to come and know
Cool.
that it's not a predatory environment, it's a place
Right.
to learn and grow.
What's the toughest part about transitioning out of the military into civilian life?
I think the toughest part is not realizing, I think we do get a little pumped up on ourselves as leaders in the military and not realizing that there are a lot of civilian skills that we need to become adept at
Okay.
to transition to that environment.
Wow.
I think that's one of the things that a lot of people look past.
Like not being organized?
I don't know about that one.
No, but most people aren't that organized like the military. Right?
Yeah.
You gotta figure that one out. What would you say? What would you say, John?
For me, I mean, it's been a meandering path the past, 10, 11 years trying to figure out where to go. So it's, we used to say, hey, you can spend any year or you could go any place for 1 year and deal with it. And when you get out, you have all the options in the world, all the geographies in the world, and you say, well, hey, I can kind of deal with this. I've dealt with, wherever I get orders to. And I think really kind of honing in your skill set, your desires, the geography where you want to be, the family life you want to have. I think that's a lot harder for folks to figure out unless you're truly passionate, have a clear translation in the civilian world, which isn't super common.
Yeah.
I think it's really takes a minute to figure that out.
Yeah, I bet. Chris, how many veterans, their job as a civilian is similar to what they did in the military?
I would say very few. There's some where you got a technical skill, like you're an electrician mate in the Navy. Maybe you work for JEA or some other company.
Yeah.
But an interesting figure I learned last week is 73% of veterans leaving uniform will leave their first company within the first 3 years.
Wow.
Which tells me a lot, right?
Yeah.
So self-exploratory, what do I really want to do? Some of you don't know what you want to do, but you might have an idea. The other reason is I think companies don't know where to place these folks. So they know there's talent. They know there's some intangible value of hiring that person.
Yep.
But they don't know where to put them at, and then the person ends up not staying around for a variety of reasons.
It's funny. So this may be a little frivolous, but I never minded coaches yelling at me. If you were my coach, you could yell at me all day. Yeah. I got into commercial real estate and these industrial business, they'd be yelling at me you're not yelling at me. What are you yelling? Yeah. Where's the report? I'm don't yell. I couldn't take it.
Different culture, right?
It's different, right?
And we talk about that a lot.
I got to imagine it's similar. Right?
It is similar. I mean, to a certain degree, and I'm pretty fortunate in my life. I've had a lot of opportunities. So I spent 14 years in the Marines, transitioned out, worked for a little company called General Electric over here on Phillips Highway. In 2001 happened, I came back on active duty in the Army, but through my experience in General Electric and then getting an MBA later, I had to kind of shake it off. And as I mentioned, some folks I'm providing some mentorship is, you come out of uniform, you got to self-study, and then you got to seek mentorship. We talk about that in the military.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It does not end when you leave uniform, and you got to go find those people that are going to make you better.
Yeah.
And Mike knows, because he's a business owner, is I'm not a finance guy. I ran millions of dollars of budgets in DoD, but here's the reality: DoD, the Department of Defense, is we spend money, we don't make money. When I was working for General Electric, every single month we're going across P&L sheets, and either a hero or a zero.
That's right.
So that's a big deal.
Mike, how about you, transition-wise? What's the big
So, my transition was a little bit before these guys. I got out 31 years ago.
Okay, all right.
I've done an entire career in electric utilities, and now I'm transitioning to another one in construction.
Okay.
So, it's a little bit different. But, I think I like what I'm hearing here because, yes, you have to figure out how to translate your skills. You got a lot of skills coming out of the military, but they don't translate one-to-one. And you have to figure out not only how those skills translate, but then you have to convince an employer how you can translate and bring value to them.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the things that coming out of the military people don't think about, most people coming out of the military are highly trained to go in and consider something like a franchise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A franchise sits here and gives you a book of rules, and the military is really good at following rules. And as long as you follow those rules, you'll generally be successful.
Okay.
So there are some things that translate well.
Yeah, it might be a little easier.
There are paths that translate much more difficult.
Yeah. It sounds the key, though, is to being with like-minded individuals that have been through the same thing you guys kind of been through.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Talk about things and talk about business.
The other thing I would say, Tom, is you got to get outside your comfort area. You got to network with people that aren't former military and stuff. And I've been pretty blessed in Northeast Florida to find people in the business sector who said, hey, let me help you with that area. And I mentioned this previously on Buzz on Veterans. When I got out in 2000, it's funny. When you come into the military, hundreds or thousands of you come in at the same time, right? But you leave as an individual. Mm-hmm. So, like you, Mike, when you left service, I basically showed up with the personnel, signed for my paperwork, and I left. Okay. These days, we got so many nonprofits out there helping veterans to coach them through the employment process. Yep. You got to have the moral courage to put yourself out there and reach out to these folks because people aren't just handing out jobs.
And ask for help. Right. Nothing wrong with asking for help.
And yet that's not something the military trained you for.
Right.
It's accepting that help.
Yeah.
Or seeking it.
Or seeking it,
right?
Yeah.
Like you have a playbook, you've got your journey in front of you, and you just follow the line, do what you're told to go, you're told to go. Right. You have to kind of learn to stray off of that and go network.
You look like you got a last word in you.
First of all, I would not yell at you. It's a safe space. I mean, the thing about, as far as like-minded individuals, my journey meandering, I mean, I was like pushing, like swimming upstream. I wanted to do the most non-military, non-veteran things. So, I left my first job 60 days in, placed through a, JMO recruiter, junior military officer recruiter, not a good fit. Headed out to Silicon Valley after running a manufacturing company in New York for a little bit. And really small veteran cohort out there.
Okay.
And it was awesome to lean on those folks, but it was also really important to me to meet all the people that were not from that world, because that was the world I wanted to join, and we didn't have like there's no beachhead out there. There is now, so to speak. But I think there's the tried and true path, like go do that, go the franchise route, or there's this. Hey, I really, there's not, like, the like-minded individuals don't share the veteran background. I mean, the amount of times I had to ask a recruiter who grew up in Palo Alto and thought going to Yale was where they got true perspective on the world. Right. True story, that happened. I have to ask, like, what do you know about the service, and like, how can I bridge that understanding what I did as a surface warfare officer, big gray ship guy, to how it translates into the software firm.
Right. So, wow, fantastic stuff, guys. I could go on forever. Appreciate you being here. Thank you for your service. Keep up the great work. All right.
Thanks a lot, Tom.
All right, thanks, Chris. Appreciate you, man. Check out their great profiles and this conversation and many, many others. Just go to dailynewsnetwork.com. We salute our veterans here on the show. We love each and every one of them. Till next time, stay safe and be cool out there. We'll see you right here on The Horse's Mouth. Cheers.
The coach should be going to bed at night thinking about the athlete and how they're going to help that athlete improve. They shouldn't be worrying about how am I going to quantify their improvement, or am I going to have to keep up with all this information? Those things that are kind of background to the coach focusing there on the athlete. And so what Dasher does is it takes all those side things away, allowing the coach to focus then on the athlete.